I've already.
Away from the microphone, please.
Anyone watching the stream, apologies if you're seeing some weird stuff on stream. Skype this morning said, hey, by the way, we're going to update you.
You don't have a choice.
It doesn't work with my streaming software anymore. So, FYI.
So far, the only weird thing is I occasionally get a white bar coming across my video.
Call turn down your radio?
That was just a notification telling me we're live. Hello.
Alright, I see we're live on Mixer and Twitch.
Are you looking at the cable?
Yeah, I want to chew it. I want to bite it.
Well, I also put Skittles on the desktop, so now she's just all about the Skittles on the desktop.
Hey there, Dimebag.
Hey. I see the Skittles. I must have the Skittles. I'm sorry, but did you see the video I took of Jess playing with Louise? I posted it on Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
You should go check it out because it's so dumb and so hilarious at the same time.
Okay, let's post this on...
No, they're my
Facebook?
Skittles.
Yeah, but what if they were mine instead?
Like, look at her head movement.
I know her ears are forward too.
It's literally one Skittle.
Yeah, but what if I ate it? What if I chewed it up and then spit it up maybe 20 minutes later?
No, you can't have the rest of them.
Hey, it disappeared.
No, there's still a ton on the actual countertop.
Man. Oh, God. Of course, now it's going to start getting warm.
I don't know if it's just my internet, but it seems to be really laggy on Twitch. Hey, Dimebag, is your Twitch running smooth?
Yeah, let us know. It might just be Restream. How's the health look on our stream here? Oh, I can't really see because my window's super small. It says it's connected. Frame rate's not 60. Oh, frame rate's now 60. It's going smooth like a criminal.
Okay, good to know. So it's just my tablet.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Dimebag. Oh, man.
Dude, how many games did we list? Was that like at least 7 or 8 games?
It's something like that. And they're all coming out at like $60.
And they're all coming out starting like next month.
If you're a patron, patreon.com/E1M1, the $2 level or higher, we just spent a bunch of time, would eventually come out on this week's Outcast, basically crying over what we still have to play this year. Because,
spoiler alert, it's a lot. And most of them haven't even come out yet.
Oh, God. Yeah, I sort of dread looking at the pile of games I have downstairs. Because I feel like for the first half of the year, I was doing great. I would play a game, I'd finish it, I would just focus on that, pop that out, put it on the shelf, hit another one.
This is the downside of having a digital library. There is no physical shame to it.
Right.
Because
you can't,
I don't
finally finish it and put it on the shelf.
I don't have a big stack like this.
Right.
To be like, okay, this one's done, remove. This one's done, remove. This one's done, remove.
Right.
Instead, I load up my Xbox. It takes forever because I've got too much stuff installed. And then it says, you have 300 games installed. And then it's like, you just downloaded 4 more games from Game Pass. Now you've got 305 games installed. It's like, great.
Too bad there's not something like, what do I have here bookmarked? Oh, I used to have it. It was basically... Oh, here it is. SteamCompletionist.net. Basically, you can randomly have it pick a game from your list of games you haven't finished yet. To say, like, this is what you should go play and finish right now. I feel like we should have that for other platforms. Question: If you join Patreon to get to see you guys play on Twitch, We're not streaming stuff on Twitch yet. I'd like to do that in the future, but how our time goes right now, that's not really possible yet. I'd love to do way more streaming, both on this channel and on my personal one, but
me too.
Not at the moment.
I've been debating to see whether or not something Jess would be interested in doing would be to me and her stream something so she can troll me live to the internet.
Yeah, it's good watching for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But right now, like Boston said, it's just a time constraint. I feel like I have no time as it is.
Yeah. Once I can put my kid in daycare, then my world is open. Which will probably be filled with getting a job again.
Probably.
Yeah. Your wife in YouTube chat says, I already do that. That's a good point.
Yeah, but I mean to a public at large.
Alright, since we recorded a spoiler cast earlier, I feel like we're about ready to start the show proper. How about you?
Yep, one sec. Gotta get rid of the white noise.
Alright.
I'm sold.
Those mid-30s are hitting us hard.
Dude, early 30s? Come on.
That's fair. I'm on the mid-30s side.
Come on, no you're not. You're on the late 30s.
That's fair. Okay.
It's weird how quiet it gets in here when the thing's not on.
I know, it's kind of nice. Like, at the end of the day when we go to bed and I turn off all the fans in the house, it's like, yeah, that's the stuff.
Yeah, it's just nice and quiet.
Yeah.
Hey, tablet, please just don't...
I like to troll you guys from under my bridge. Thank you, Dante. We're very happy to see you every week.
Yes.
Alright, you ready?
Yep.
Alright, let's get started here in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston, and joining me as always is Moonpeer.
Hello.
Couple of announcements here at the very beginning. We just wrapped up our recap episode for our latest Game Club game for Celeste, and that will go live here probably about the same time that this episode goes live. And the next game, as randomly chosen by random.org, and me just pasting a list into it, is Ori and the Blind Forest.
You know, my wife is going to be super mad because we never get games that she likes to play.
I know. That's the unfortunate part about a random list is I've already played Ori and the Blind Forest, so like it's not anything new to me, but you know it's in our list for good reason since I know you and Musum haven't played it yet. So that's another month of us playing that game. Moon's wife in chat goes boo.
Yep, told you.
Yeah, keep suggesting games. They'll get in the list, and we can they will hopefully randomly come up or get voted on by patrons, which will be next month's game will get voted on by you patrons. Patreon.com/E1M1. The ones are numbers. We also just recorded a spoiler cast for God of War, the 2018 God of War, and that turned out a lot longer than we thought. But that will come out probably Wednesday of this week. So look for that in your feeds. That turned out really well. I felt like we had a really good episode for a really great game. So if you finished God of War, number one, if you haven't played God of War, go play it. The episode will be there for you to listen to later. If you've finished God of War, go listen to it. I think it turned out really, really well.
Yep, me too.
All right, I think that's all. That's all of our boring news stuff here at the beginning.
We'll see.
So let's just dive into what have you been playing this past week, Moonpeer.
Okay, I should probably move all my stuff off my notebook, which is where my list lives. So we'll start with Bomber Crew.
Oh yeah.
This is the Game Pass game. I believe I started playing it last week.
Yeah, I believe so.
It's still really good, and then it introduced aces, like enemy aces.
Oh.
Who you can't auto fire at. You have to actually like aim at them, and then your gunners will start shooting at them. And then I did something stupid.
Oh.
which is I just flew around in a circle in an area getting bombarded with flak, just trying to shoot down this ace out of the sky.
Right.
I lost 2 engines.
Oh no.
My ship was flashing red.
Uh-oh.
My hydraulic system broke. It was rough, but I completed the mission. I was heading back to home base. Didn't realize that when you lower your landing gear and one of your engines has the wheel, because the 2 wheels for the plane are your internal engines, because the 4 engine and your wheels come out of the 2 engines close to the body.
Okay.
Didn't realize that because one of them was broken, the wheel didn't come down.
Oh no.
Landed the plane in a crashing kind of manner.
A little crash-ish.
I landed it on the landing strip at home base, literally the very end of the mission. I landed the plane, crash landed, onto the strip, and then literally the mission complete screen was all your people survived. They all made it back to base. Great. Nice. Your plane was destroyed.
Fair enough.
So Bicky Wiki is dead.
No.
Long live Cookie Wookie. Because it made perfect sense to me to name the sequel to Bicky Wiki Cookie Wookie.
Of course.
But yeah, that game still remains really, really fun. It's like 5 minutes a mission, maybe 10 minutes a mission. You jump on there, you shoot a bunch of things out the sky.
Nice. Very
simple base management kind of mechanics. And then you drop bombs on people.
I'm glad to hear that it, even though it put a mechanic in there that you couldn't auto-fire with, that didn't break the spirit of the fun you were having with the game. Because sometimes a game will do that and it's like, all right, that's kind of it. I don't have the same relaxing feeling with the game now. That was kind of the thing that pushed me into not playing it anymore. I'm glad it's not like that.
No, to be honest, it works out pretty well because these are the aces. They are the top pilots of the enemy.
Right.
So it's a nice little inclusion to be like, you know, you're under attack. It doesn't explain to you. That's the biggest downside of it. It does not explain that you need to be aiming at them to shoot at them.
Oh, okay.
Or at least that's my understanding so far. So it didn't explain that 100%. But once I learned that, it was fine. It was like, okay, I will do more damage at least to this guy if I'm aiming at him.
Right.
And then the guys will kind of focus on him. But it adds that little extra thing because then if you get an ace show up, then you know that's a threat that you need to deal with one way or the other. So it adds a nice extra layer onto it rather than being a totally distracting thing.
Nice.
I played a little bit of Rainbow Six Siege with my wife. Played some Terrorist Hunt. It's so dumb and so fun when you play in Terrorist Hunt on the easy difficulties.
Is it just like a shooting gallery?
Kind of, yes.
Yeah.
Especially when you have like decent quality headphones like we have. And it's the surround sound. It's like, oh, you're on the other side of this wall. Let's just put a few holes through this wall.
Or just put a shotgun up to it.
That trailer from way back when Siege was first, and I was like, oh, look, you can shoot holes in the walls. That's still there. Like, that's the game. Awesome. It's so cool, like being able to just literally take down a section of wall and then just use that as like as a shooting gallery for any terrorist in the next room.
Right.
It's like the game's great. Like Rainbow Six Siege is genuinely great, and I think it might be a hard sell to ask someone to jump into it now.
Yeah.
But it's still great, so jump in it now. I really don't mind.
It's not like they're going to stop supporting it either, which is great.
No, they just keep supporting that thing. It's like I'm waiting for the 10-year Rainbow Six Siege plan is what I'm waiting for.
God, that'd be great.
I played a tiny little bit of Super Mega Baseball 1, the OG. Because much like Dead Cells, this has become I have a spare 15 minutes, I'm just going to play around for a little bit.
Yeah.
I did have the difficulty up at 70 out of 100.
Wow.
And started losing. So I bumped it down to 50 just to give myself a more relaxing experience, while at the same time getting enough points to level my people up, to level my team up, to get more everything, because it's a baseball game with, like, so far, 2-year progression for me.
Oh, wow.
Where the more you play it, the more you unlock and the more upgrades you can do to your team. To the point where finally, after 2 years of trying, I finally got one of the rare achievements in the game.
Ooh.
which is to say, I got a massive dinger.
Okay. What's the definition of that?
It's a home run that's over 500 feet.
Wow. Okay.
Which,
yeah, that's a good descriptor of it.
And the best part is it does that whole Xbox percentage thing, like how close you are to this achievement. But it fills that up with the maximum home run distance you ever had.
Oh no.
So like when I first started like 300 and it was like, oh, you're like 65% of the way.
Yeah.
And then you hit 400 and you're like, oh, it's 75% of the way.
Getting close.
I think I hit like a 497 at one point.
Oh,
I was
God.
like, you are 98% of the way there. And it's been 98% for so long. It was just like, really?
Taunting you.
Yeah, pretty much, because it's so close percentage-wise, it's always top of the achievement list.
Oh, right. Oh.
Because it organizes it by how close you are to it, so it was always top. Like, killing me. And then yesterday I think I was playing it, and I don't know what happened. It was just I hit a solid hit, a good connection, and it was like, I'm feeling this. As soon as I hit it, I thought,
It's
this
gonna
is
happen.
big. This is really, really big. And then so I hit the ball, and as the actual ball was arcing over the stadium, I was like, this is a big hit. This is a really big hit. This could be it. And then the frame rate hitched for just a second. I was like,
I did it!
That's the achievement unlock one.
It's gonna pop up!
Never in my life have I been so excited for frame hitching.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it went out. The ball sailed, continued its path. It was like achievement popped up with a massive ding. It was like 520 feet, 23 feet or something like that.
Like it's nothing.
Yeah, the second I hit it, I thought, this has got potential.
Yeah.
So it was one of those really great, satisfying moments of, finally, 2 years after starting the game, I got this achievement.
Man.
All I've got left now are the ridiculous ones.
Oh, okay.
And I mean ridiculous ones, which is offensive and defensive beast, which is you can upgrade your trainers, your coaches, your stylists, and give your guys different perks to increase their stats. Offensive beast is 90 in power, contact, and speed. Defensive is fielding, arm, and speed.
Oh, wow.
Get a 99 in all three of those numbers to get that achievement. And then there is win a season at difficulty level 99 out of 100.
Oh, jeez.
A season game at difficulty level 99, and then win a season with an average difficulty of 90.
Wow.
Which you need to level up your star level to unlock all of the highest stuff you can to be able to do that. So now I'm just playing it because it's fun to hit a ball and watch it go sailing over the wall. So
and
right now,
like eventually working up towards leveling everyone up.
Yeah, it's one of those games where it's like, yeah, it's a grind, where at the moment I'm playing a game. It's fun. I'm playing it, turn it off, play something else, maybe in a couple of days, go back, play another game. I did some experimenting with the difficulty level to feel out which was the best for the multiplier of the points versus the ease at which I can win. So I'm playing it now on a difficulty level which I can still win, but I'm getting a higher return of investment in regards to the points.
Oh, so, okay, right.
Not that I overthink the way I play games or anything.
Well, you want the most bang for your buck if you're going to spend, at most half an hour, as opposed to I'm going to sit here play an easy difficulty for like 4 hours and listen to a podcast or something.
Yeah, I mean, literally, I just jump in, I hit the ball a few times, and then I leave.
Yeah.
So it's become one of those games where it's like so many other games where it's just I've got some time. I don't have to think. I just hold X, let go of X. Problem solved.
Yeah.
Let's see. God of War. So, as we mentioned at the top of the show, I beat it at last.
Yep.
Oh boy, does that game go places.
I was gonna say that's a real journey, and then I thought, that's a little too punny by accident, and then I said it anyway.
Yeah, a little bit.
So you now have... We talked about all the story stuff in the spoiler cast, so we're definitely not going to talk about it here. Have you started the challenges for like the 2 optional realms? I guess minor spoilers if anyone's starting this. The fire one and then the gas one?
I haven't been to Niflheim. I've been to Muspelheim, which is the fire one.
Okay.
I've been there and I got to I got to the. Sorry, my cat has found a piece of paper. And that is her playing in the background, chasing paper into plastic bags.
Good times.
Yeah. Louise, get over here. I went into the Fire Realm, and when I unlocked it, I was still low level, like gear-wise.
Yeah.
So I made it to the second giant tablet.
Okay.
And then I had to stop because I was getting worked because everybody was like purple health levels.
Yeah, it was like the difficulty ramp between the first one's like, this is easy, I got this, and the second one's like, no man, you don't have this.
Yeah, 100%.
You need to come back at like level 7 or above.
Yeah, I think right now I'm level 6, and I'm just going around collecting a bunch of stuff right now just to give myself a more open experience of the world. And I will murder you if you don't calm down, cat.
You're doing something important, so now I need to make a lot of noise.
Yeah, exactly. She's been perfectly fine for the longest time.
Yeah.
And my last game of this week, unfortunately...
Oh, the only other thing I wanted to ask you about for God of War is...
Oh, yes.
We talked a little bit about it during the spoiler cast, but I want to talk about it here. How many of the Valkyries have you fought?
1. I've found and fought 1.
Okay, because I think there's...
9, I think.
Yeah, or 8? Something around there. There's... Oh, yeah, I think there's like 8, and then there's a final boss. I cannot recommend those fights enough. They're so hard, and they demand that you have an intimate familiarity with the fighting mechanics of the game. Not in a mean way, but I feel like that's the ultimate combat challenge in the game.
Yeah.
I found those so rewarding from just a gameplay standpoint that I recommend anyone go check them out. Even if you're not trying to platinum it or whatever, I feel like the gear you get from those is often really good.
Yeah, I picked up my first pieces of like loot from them. So the second you pick up one piece of loot that can craft something, it shows up in the shop. And I happened to go to the shop and say, like, okay, so that's really powerful armor and about 3 times the power I'm currently wearing. Shame I don't have enough mats to craft it yet. Yeah,
between that and the gas realm, I feel like that was the best upgrade path for me. I felt the fire realm was too, but maybe I did it too late. I think I got in the same position where you were, was like, oh, okay, I can't do this difficulty at all. And I came back and I like motored through all of them and then motored through like half of the basically once you beat all of them, you can go back through and do a more challenging version of all of them.
Yeah.
And that gets you some really good stuff. But for me, I spent too much time in the gas area getting that gear. Because I think it has health regen on it. And I was like, well, that's...
It does.
I want that.
It all has health regen and it stacks like 5 times as well.
Yeah, it's really good.
So...
God of War is so good.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
Like, go play the game, folks. Like, if you have the ability to, just go play it.
It's well worth it.
Yeah, definitely. The final game for me this week is the same game that's been chewing up all of my time, and I don't have any time left. Thank you very much, game. Oh, you know what it is, because I'm deliberately using it as a transition again to pass the ball over to you.
It's Dead Cells!
It's Dead Cells!
The game I cannot stop playing.
Yep.
I was thinking about it when I was playing it this morning, thinking, like, why am I... So I've had so many bad runs lately, and I'm so bad at the game because it's early days of a game like this. Because it's kind of like a Metroidvania plus a roguelike. I think to me I'm enjoying that level of blind discovery. The thing that I really loved about The Binding of Isaac, which is like, all right, it says I unlocked something. So I'm excited to find it, and then I'm excited to figure out what it does. And
yeah,
I think Dead Cells does that formula maybe even a little bit better than Isaac does, because I love, as you start unlocking stuff and you start unlocking more options for your starting items, I love hitting that first area where you can pick between like 2 or 3 items. and then just figuring out right away how you're gonna format this run, or like, all right, all of these items are just disasters. This is not how I like playing this game. What am I gonna look for, and what am I gonna replace first?
Yeah, it's like the combos. Like you don't figure out what works well together, but as soon as you unlock that starter shield, that starter bow, starter shield, starter sword, then you figure out what you are comfortable with on a run. That's how I discovered the Frost Hadouken thing and the Assassin's Blade combo.
Yeah.
Where it's like, ooh, this is really, really good.
Really good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh god.
I've got to the point now where I've unlocked so much stuff, but there's certain things I'd like to talk about. I literally don't want to mention it because there's some stuff that you unlock that's kind of really cool.
Okay.
To give you an idea where I am, I'm pretty sure I have all of the relics at this point.
Okay.
I think I have all of the relics at this point.
Relics?
Yes. So,
runes, yeah. I've unlocked the Vine rune, which was a fun discovery of what that did, and then I unlocked the rune that gives you daily challenges. Which I tried one of those, and I'm like, I'm not nearly good enough for these yet. I'll come back to those maybe in a couple of days.
Give them a shot, because some of them are really hard. Okay. Some of them are a bit easier. You get blueprints for completing the daily.
Oh, okay, now I need to do them. Yeah, because like the first one I fired up, it's like, welcome to the ossuary, and I was like, that's the last area? This is bad.
It's not the last area, but it's a far down there kind of area.
Okay. Yeah, so far where I'm at in the game, because it'd probably be easier to talk about where I'm at because I'm further back than you are. I can regularly get to the first boss, the concierge. Mm-hmm. I can regularly get to him, and he regularly beats me to death. So like, I've beaten him maybe 2 or 3 times just by having, like a really good trap and crossbow run. So I can sort of keep my distance. That's been, as I'm learning his patterns and learning what he does offensively and defensively, that's helped a lot. I keep running into
him, by the way.
What's up?
A good note for the concierge is try not to forget, because I always do. Try not to forget you can dodge roll in midair.
Yeah, I've been trying. Part of what I do that for a lot of regular enemies, but what I keep doing when he brings up that red force field around him, I freak out. Yep. to me, it's like when you played Guitar Hero and Rock Band and you see the solo coming up and you're like, my brain just shut off. Like, I don't know what I'm doing right now. So a lot of times you can just dodge roll through him on the ground and you'll maybe take like 1 hit and it'll be fine. I dodge roll into him in the air and he's just like air comboing me and I lose like 75% of my health.
Yeah, a big one for him is when he does the ground pound thing where he fires the fire across the ground.
Yeah.
Later on, when he's below like 50% health or something, the second you hit jump to jump over that, he is in the air to come at you as fast as he can.
Yep.
So you've kind of got to teach yourself for that second half of that fight.
When he goes
berserk. You jump over, roll just to keep yourself a little safe from that in the air hit that he's got a tendency to do. That thing killed me so many times. Like, the concierge is no laughing matter.
No. And, for first boss, he's tough.
Oh boy, does it go some places.
Oh, God, that's so exciting. And the thing I'm sort of working on now is there's a guy that I ran into in a cell that said, hey, further down in the dungeon, there's a rune. I mean, my rune. If you could go get him, bring him back to me, that'd be great. Every time I run into that dude, and there's like a super elite boss right after him, I have no charges on my potion. I'm down to like 25% health, and I have a garbage run. I never run into him when I have a super overpowered run. It's only when I'm at death's doorstep, and that enemy looks at me, and I just die.
Yep, I've had a couple of runs like that. I will admit I had my first case of frustration with the game. I think it was yesterday or the day before, where I was on a killer run, like a huge killer run. Like, I was whipping everything.
You have like 2 orange weapons, and you're just like cutting through people.
1 gold and 1 gold trap.
Wow.
Yeah, so I had myself specced out perfectly because the mutations that you can get, you unlock mutations as well as you go further in.
Yeah, I think I've unlocked like 1 or 2 mutations, and it's like, oh no, these are... Because my first question was, a lot of these mutations are not super interesting, and then I unlocked another one, I was like, oh, okay.
Do you know which one you unlocked?
I don't. I think it was... the vampire one, maybe?
The vampire one is not even a...
Like a good one.
Really?
Just cat theater today. Well, and like...
The vampire is not a mutation, though. The vampire is... You could be talking about one of a couple of things. Something I didn't know is there are spells that you can use once a level.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Take the slot of one of your traps.
Oh.
And literally there is one of them called Vampire.
Yeah.
The one you're thinking of is probably the regain 2 or 3 HP as when an enemy dies.
Yeah, and like you can upgrade it so like at some point you can get like 6 or 7 health. So like those green glowy guys are pretty easy to kill.
Yeah, just so you know, the level of health you regain is based on the level of the color that it is.
Yes. Yeah. Which is really great because like I really like the game is so clear about so many of its systems. After I love you, Ed, but after playing Binding of Isaac, it's really refreshing because like when you get one of those triple things where it's like pick red, this is what happens, pick purple, this is what happens. You have their arrows at the bottom for which ones it improves, and then like you pick green, here's what it does, here's how much health it gives, and here's how your vampirism one improves. Like it goes from 4 to 5. And it's like, to me, and you and I, that's like a revelation. Where instead of like, what's gonna happen if you go behind the green door? And it's like, is it good? Is it gonna kill me? I don't know.
Yes. You're used to much more mysterious roguelikes.
Yeah, exactly. And like I feel the same way that I did when I've played so many of those great roguelikes, like Isaac, Enter the Gungeon, Rogue Legacy. Like, it's that thing where I'm frustrated that I died, especially when I'm frustrated that I had a good loadout and I was dumb and I just made a wrong decision and I didn't go as far as I wanted to. But I'm gonna immediately start a new run because now it's a new run. Like, it's a brand new day. I could do anything. I could have a great run. And to me, that's the best feeling from one of these games. When you die and it's not like, oh, all right, I'm just going to close it like screw Dead Cells. It's sort of like, yeah, all right, screw Dead Cells, but this run, this is going to be the run. This is to be the one where I'm going to do it.
Yeah. Like, it's shocking about how easy it gives you those great feelings, and then you do something stupid like me and open a curse chest on a level you've never been on before.
I just did that this morning.
With a bunch of enemies that you don't know the attack patterns for.
I did that on the...
immediately die.
The fishing village, which was the dumbest idea, because you have those pirates that shoot the
I was going to say, was
cannonballs.
it one of the pirates?
You have those shark dudes that spit into tiny sharks. It's like, I think I killed one enemy before I got mowed down by someone. It's like, I deserve that. I lost 40 cells because I was dumb. Why did I do that?
So you've beaten the concierge before?
Yeah, so I met the collector, is the guy you meet right after him? The blacksmith?
The blacksmith is what you're thinking of.
So here's another crazy thing that I really like about the game. I like all the characters. I especially like the main character, that he has all these hand gestures because he doesn't have a head. I think that's fun. I actually am really interested in the story. Like the malaise and like all this little notes and stuff you're finding around the environment and all the prisoners you're running into and corpses. Like, to me, it feels like... I'm going to talk more about Binding of Isaac, I'm so sorry. I feel like Binding of Isaac tried to do a lot of this with endings and some very obscure, vague stuff that he was putting in the game. I like how Dead Cells does it because obviously there was something called the malaise. There's something that's killing these prisoners. There's something devious going on in this prison, but I don't know what, and it's giving me enough of these little breadcrumbs to sort of be like, all right, there's something going on here. The game is poking fun at itself, where it's like, thank goodness all these illegible notes, there was one piece of paper I could read. That's good lore telling. It's like, that's great.
That breaking the fourth wall is really, really good.
Like just a little bit.
It's clever the way they did it. So, are you ready for a game changer?
Okay, yeah, because we were talking about the blacksmith.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the blacksmith, he requires a lot of cells.
Right.
As I'm sure you noticed.
Yep.
You know that door that's locked?
Oh, you totally busted down.
Yeah.
I found that out by accident where I was like, I sort of don't want to unlock anything. Oh, you can bust through that door? That's awesome. Oh, I lost all my souls. Or my cells.
Fun fact as well, you know the gold doors that you pay the fee to open?
Yeah.
You can bust down those too.
Really? Save me so much money. Although I have so much money often.
Spoiler alert, it curses you.
That's awesome. Ah, that's so smart.
Mm-hmm.
God, this game is designed so well.
So there is a lot of things in this game. Like, this is what we pre-show. We were talking about that joy of discovery.
Yeah.
This is what we are talking about, where it's like we are both learning about this game at the same time. I think it was mentioned to you yesterday, I unlocked a weapon. Like, you get the Spartan sandals really, really early.
Yeah.
I hate the Spartan sandals.
I haven't found a build where I like them.
Nope, I've not found one that I enjoy using them. So that kind of put a thing on me of not liking any other shoe-based weaponry.
Okay.
I was completely wrong.
Okay.
Because I happened to get a gold shoe-based weaponry.
Okay.
That was a huge game changer for the way I play this game.
Oh, nice.
And that was the item that took me as far as I could possibly go. To the point where I hit a level that I basically got 2-shot killed. Wow. Which tells me I've got a whole bunch more upgrading to go to consistently get there.
And, like, it's so smart with the upgrades, too, because there's this great risk-reward where when you pick up a blueprint from an enemy, you have to make it to the collector to turn it into him before he puts it in his list. So, like, if you have something that looks really cool, it behooves you to, like, make a beeline right to him and not explore, not screw around in the level, because if you die, you drop that and all your cells, and you will have to just find it again.
Yep.
And on the converse side, starting a new run and seeing all those jars with all the stuff you've unlocked, I have to fill all of those now.
Yep.
Like, I have to.
That was a great moment and a terrible moment when you first hit those jars. Yep. Like, I was sitting there playing it, I think Jess was next to me, and I was like, that's all the unlocks in the game.
I'm screwed.
That's all of the items that you can unlock in this game. This is gonna be a problem.
Yep. And like, I looked at the Dead Cells, the subreddit, because I was thinking like, oh, maybe they'll have some good beginner tips that maybe I haven't thought about. Maybe something that isn't super spoilery, because I want to treat this the same way that I treated Isaac, where it's like, I want to make the mistakes. I want to learn what the secrets look like. I want to learn, you know, like, after I got the Vine rune, I figured, oh, okay, that's what those things do. I have these other things I can rub, and they, like, turn electric, so that's probably another rune, but I don't want to know, because I want to unlock it and then have that moment of, like, oh, that's what that... Okay, now the game has continued to expand. Now I have more options in each level. And, like, the very first post I ran into was, like... And I don't blame them, because it's been out for... the game's been out in early access for a long time, but the first post was, like, min-maxing your unlocks. What you should unlock first and what you shouldn't. It's like, alright, I'm already gonna kind of tap out, because I want to make those mistakes. Like, I want to unlock the Spartan sandal and pick it up and be like, oh, this is
not for me.
And then maybe like 40 hours from now, pick up Spartan Sandal again with another thing I've unlocked and be like, okay, now it's good with this item and these two, this spell and this thing, and like I can have a Spartan Sandal build. But the thing that I'm looking forward to in Dead Cells is I can't make the most of every run yet, which makes sense because I'm at the beginning. Like Binding of Isaac, you give me a terrible run, I can probably make the most. I might not be able to finish the run, but I'm going to make it pretty far on the back of a really garbage run.
Yeah.
I'm excited about getting to that point eventually in Dead Cells because I can tell I'm already getting better. I know a lot of the enemy patterns. I get tripped up when I'm running into 2 or 3 enemies at the same time. You know, I don't have that flow chart down for how to attack them. But I'm so excited that I'm building that and getting there. And I think that's what's so addictive about roguelikes is getting that experience and having that, like, that endorphin rush and polishing your flowchart time and time again is, to me, it's irresistible.
It's that new flowchart that you're building.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's a good feeling to know. Like, I know now because if you pull up the map, it shows you logos.
Yes.
Of the items, and I know if I see one of those logos, even if it's like a secret room, like that you've gone past, and you're like, wait, I didn't go in there and get that, and I know exactly what that item is because I know that logo.
Right.
So I'm gonna go back and find my way in that room because I need that thing because I know it's good.
Yeah, and like I love that the flowchart starts with, okay, these green guys are enemies and they leap at you, so I should dodge roll through that, and then it turns into, well, I love this secret item, and I need to get it, and I need to do X, Y, and Z to like loop it back around to the secret area. Dimebag in chat says, so worth a buy for Isaac and Enter the Gungeon fans? Yes.
Yes.
If you like either one of those games, I think Dead Cells takes what's great about those games and polishes them, shockingly, and then puts it in a Metroidvania that has a little bit of procedural generation in it, but not enough to like frustrate. And the combination of it, I think, is really great. And I've been thinking about it a lot this week because you and I bounced off of Flint Hook pretty hard. And I think because that level of discovery, like this intangible feeling, didn't really exist in Flint Hook. I think Flint Hook also has a problem of being too hard in a mean way, where Dead Cells is hard in a learning way. But yeah, I think if any of this sounds good, if you like roguelikes and you like Metroidvanias, this to me so far is a must pick. I can already tell I'm going to spend months and months and months unlocking everything and getting every trophy and squeezing every droplet out of this game, and I couldn't be more excited.
Yeah, it's already one of those games for me. I mean, it's worth mentioning, do you have the frame skip issue like I do?
On PS4 so far, I have no frame rate issues.
It's not specifically a frame rate issue, it's like a skip.
No, it's silky smooth for me.
Mine too. Mine runs absolutely crystal clear, fine as a dandy. And then every now and again, and depending on the type of run I'm having, it can be every hour, it can be every 2 hours, it can be any 5-10 minutes. Basically what happens is it's running perfectly smooth, and then all of a sudden you've teleported, let's say you're running left to right, you've teleported 4 to 5 steps to the right.
Sure, right.
And it's basically skipped everything that got you up to that point.
Gotcha. So it's a true frame skip.
Yeah. And it's not just 1 or 2, it's like a good 20-30 frames minimum of just this sudden little clip, and it goes and teleports you. I mentioned this to you via text message throughout the week. Like, I recommended this game to Indie Gamer Chick on Twitter.
Right.
Fell in love with the game. It was really heartwarming to see. She started getting it really bad on her OG Xbox.
Oh, interesting.
I get it occasionally on the X. I've heard it's iffy on PlayStation 4. It can happen. It might be an unlock thing that starts happening after you've unlocked a certain amount of
I
items.
wonder if there's like a minor memory leak, because I know they also put this on Switch, and I know
Switch gets it bad.
Late game runs have some frame rate issues, which they are tackling right now, and I wonder if, as part of that, they'll tackle some of the frame skip issues on Xbox One. And I haven't run it on PS4, but to be fair, I'm not doing super long runs. Like, each one of my runs maybe is max 20 minutes. So there's probably some garbage collection going on in the back end between runs. But yeah, I get the impression that there's still some optimization to be done on consoles, but to me,
literally, that's my one issue. That's literally the only issue I have with the game, is that thing, and it's not enough for me. Cause you guys know me, you know how patient I can be with games that are just completely broken
yes.
or boring. I will go through to the end no matter what. I can understand why you might not want to play this game. Like, IGC has dropped completely off this. Like, she bounced off this hardcore.
Yeah.
And that's fine. It's completely understandable if that issue has caused, like, in her case, it caused her to die.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So, that in a roguelike is an unforgivable kind of thing.
Right.
It hasn't done that to me as of yet. But that's the one thing you gotta be aware of, is it is a known issue.
Yeah.
It's been repeated by multiple different people on multiple different setups on multiple different systems. But know that going in, and having known that, just buy the game and play it, because it's incredible.
And it's only $15. I mean, it's well worth it. I think the only issue that I have with the game so far is there's an accessibility setting for bright flashes to decrease or remove those. I really wish they would put in an option to significantly decrease the amount of screen shake when you bust open a door, because there are a lot of times where I start feeling not great because of how much the screen shakes, and oftentimes if I don't need to do it, I will open the door instead of bust it down. Which feels like I'm removing a part of the game. Not in a major way, but like doing the ground slam and busting open doors always feels really great, and to remove that feels a little bit of a bummer.
Yeah, I mean, the door slam is fantastic, but a better ground pound I have not seen in years.
Yeah, exactly. So yes, go buy and go play Dead Cells. It's incredible. I finally understand why everyone was like, hey, you should buy and play Dead Cells in early access.
Yeah, as soon as people started talking about it in early access and how good it was, I was like, no, thanks, I'll wait.
Yeah, I'll wait until I
get the full release. I'm good.
Yeah, exactly. I played more Sir Questionnaire, that mobile game I'm playing. Sort of working on finishing the first major I guess objective they give you. Basically, one of the early weapons you can gather is just a broom handle, and they want you to gather 55 of those across all your runs. You have like 35 of them. So a lot of it is just keep doing runs and you'll work on this. I think you get a new player class when you complete 5 objectives. So a lot of it is just kind of, I'm laying in bed at night and I want to play a little bit of something before I go to bed. I don't really feel like reading anything. I'll play some Sir Questionnaire because it's a good time. Destiny 2. I did it. I'm done. Season 3 has a bow on it.
I don't believe that for a second.
I have not played it in like a week. So
oh wow.
Yeah, what I mean when I said I finished it is I completed the purple armor set for all 3 characters. I got my ship, which looks really cool. And there was a handful more heroic strikes to finish off the rank 50 for the PvE rank. I got the other exclusive ship, and I finished up the last PvE ornament for this season, so I have all 5 of them for the PvE ornament set, which I sort of did slowly over the whole season.
Yeah,
What were you gonna say? Sorry.
I still think we need to have an intervention with you in this game.
Probably come the 4th, yeah.
Okay.
Probably. But now at this point, I've completed all the PvE and PvP stuff that I wanted to do. There's way more stuff I could do, but it's either like get a group together and do a raid, which I don't have the time to do escalation protocol, which I also don't have time to do, get the like the Whisper of the Worm sniper, which I don't have time to like sit around and wait for public events to happen because it's tied to that. You know, there's a bunch of other stuff I can do that I'll do in the future, and it'll be even easier when I come back to do it because I'll be so much higher power level. But right now I'm kind of enjoying waiting for the big patch on the 28th, then like reorganizing all the weapons that get moved to the different slots, and then just kind of waiting for the 4th for the floodgates to open.
It's going to be problematic.
Yeah, there's just... I could go really inside baseball on it, but I won't. But the amount of content that they are adding in Forsaken and then Season 4, they've taken away some content and sort of refactored some of it, and they're reworking on some content that is going to miss Season 4 completely, which is understandable and I think good. I'm glad that they're putting more long-term chases in the game. Like there's one big PvP chase that will take me literally the entirety of Season 4, not playing super dedicated, but playing a little bit here, you know, every week. And that's really exciting. You know, the new Gambit mode, there's going to be a really long chase to get some exclusive weapons and armor and stuff from that, and that's really good. Like, that's the stuff that I want. I might not be able to play this weekend for this event that's here for 2 days, because we might be recording an episode on Saturday and 2 episodes on Sunday, and like then I have to edit. You know, that stuff might not work, but I can get something a little bit of time every day over 4 months. And
yeah, you can do the long haul rather than the rather than the short term.
And I think there should be short term stuff, and I appreciate and I encourage there to be stuff in the game that not everybody can get. Like, I can't get the raid gear because I can't raid, and that's okay. You know, I can't get some of the Nightfall exclusive drops because I don't really have time to run the Nightfall, and that's okay. But I appreciate that there are more avenues to get stuff for people like me that maybe have at most an hour to play in like 15-minute chunks a day, or like 2 hours a week.
Yeah.
As opposed to you're going to play 10 hours on Saturday to get this done. So that I think that's really great. And last but not least, Octopath Traveler.
There we go.
Picking this back up, I did. I think my brother and Mina were both recommending that I go and get. I don't even remember her name. The dancer, who everyone was saying she had the most interesting story, and her name's Primrose. I thought her story was interesting, but Octopath Traveler is really frustrating because I like what they're doing, because I like that it's not a stereotypical JRPG where a plucky mute teenager and all of his young friends and the old guy who's 22 years old eventually go kill God, who's also his father that hasn't been in his life since he was born. Like, it's not that. It's very much a small tale. You know, this bad thing happened to this one person, and they're out on an adventure to get revenge or learn more about their past or go see the world. You know, like, I think that's really interesting. But the game, it's so hard for a JRPG in 2018 because if you follow the formula,
the game has changed.
No, like, you're accused of being formulaic, and here's another JRPG. But if you break the formula's conventions too much, like something like Bravely Default, then you're being too weird, and it's too different from a JRPG, so you kind of can't win.
Yep.
And I appreciate the battle system of Octopath Traveler because I feel like they extend it enough, and I feel like it's interesting enough, and boss battles are exceptionally difficult, which is really great. But then everybody's intro stories all follow the same story beats and all play out very similarly, that by the time I'm on the 5th character now, like, this character, Ophelia's father, starts getting a bad cold, and I'm like, okay, well, he's gonna die. And that's going to mean that she leaves town to do whatever. And it's like, you can already see as soon as you get introduced to all your characters in the first couple minutes, you're like, that person dies, that's why I leave town. And then, like, within an hour, those 2 people die, and you leave town to, like, discover yourself. Like, that's fine, but to do that with all 8 characters is really starting to feel rote.
Yeah.
But that's balanced by, I'm enjoying, the music is outstanding. Like, the voice acting is hit or miss. The game looks great. The battle system is so fun to fight. But then this story is just, it's like boring rote thing, which is frustrating, but I don't know, it's this sort of like, you know, there's the famous saying, God doesn't give with both hands. It's, you know, like, all the stuff in this game is really fun, and the story and the voice acting is kind of bad. So at least, you know, usually in JRPGs, either the story is good and the battle system is bad, or vice versa. And I can deal with a story that's not super engaging with a battle system that's really fun to play. Because when JRPGs are really bad is when both are average. It's just a slog. Like, T-Bomb and I were talking about Tales of Zestiria in Discord this morning, and he said he's played for a couple of hours and it's not really grabbing him. I was like, that's sort of it for like 30 more hours. Like, it's just, it's fine, but you know you're going to be in it for 30 or 40 hours, so like, do you want to keep playing a game that's fine for that much longer, or can you just, like, put it on the shelf and then play something else you've been looking forward to? How far does the sunk cost fallacy go down, really?
So I have a couple of questions.
Sure.
Number 1 is, I can't remember the name of the game, Eternal Sonata. Is that a game that gets both right?
Oh boy. Eternal Sonata was the Chopin 360. I think, to me, Eternal Sonata, I remember liking its battle system a lot and thinking the story was largely good, with gaming's longest and cheesiest death scene in it.
Well, yeah, because the start of the game to the end of the game.
No, like, there was one scene where this woman is dying in a house, and it's very much like, these are my last words, and it's literally like a 15-minute cutscene, and then it zooms out of the window, and it's like, yeah, she died. And then it cuts back into the house where she's like, one more thing. It's like, no, just, we're done.
Okay, yeah, I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
I'll admit. And secondly, who's your favorite JRPG old guy?
Oh boy.
I've literally got one. Like, one. Two, technically speaking.
Who's yours?
Vincent.
Yeah, from Final Fantasy 7, right.
And Orin from 10.
Orin is one of my choices because I like that he
knows what's going on.
Yeah, and he's stoic. I like that in a game. I'd also have to say probably Balthair from Final Fantasy 12.
Okay. I cannot remember that guy for the life of me.
He's the British one with the gun.
Shocker.
Yeah. Well, I like that he thinks that he's the leading man in the story. And
wait, is 12 the one with Zidane?
No, that's 9.
Okay, which one's 12?
12 is... 12's the one with the cat lady, the rabbit lady.
Okay, I don't think I played 12.
Oh, yeah, I don't think you have. Now you have a PS4, so you can play the best version of 12.
12 the MMO.
Yeah, that like half MMO. The
okay,
pseudo
yeah,
MMO.
Definitely not playing that game.
Oh, it's so good. It's not the thing about 12 to remember is it's like Final Fantasy 8. It's not nearly as bad as the detractors say it is.
Yeah, Final Fantasy 8 is good.
Yeah, but yeah, I like him. My favorite thing about JRPGs is always like the old dude, and he's like, he's 25, like, whatever, Grandpa. It's like, oh, okay.
I'm trying to think. I've not played Persona 5. I've played 3.
3 doesn't really have an old guy except for the guy with the beanie.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of 4 because I've seen the endurance run of that.
4, the old guy is Dojima, his like foster dad.
Yeah, that's true. But he's not a party member, but you can get away with that one, I guess.
Yeah. 5 doesn't really have one. Yeah, I don't really think 5 has one. Everybody's pretty young in that. And like the whole story, the whole framing of 5 is adults are evil. So it's very much like yeah, it's very much like all of your party members are in high school. Yeah. So I keep playing Octopath Traveler because I'm largely enjoying it, but Dead Cells is really good. And thank God I don't have it on Switch because I feel like I wouldn't be sleeping. And I'm like a little afraid to go back to Hollow Knight now because it's been a couple weeks since I've played it, and I really need to finish it in time for top 10 this year.
Yep.
But I have so much other stuff to play.
Yeah. It's who knows? Like, let's not talk about those games again, shall we? Because
I don't want to start crying again.
No. Exactly.
But that's all I've been playing this week, so let's take a break. It's so hot in here.
So, Twitch on my tablet is no longer working. It's framey, it's crazy, it's ridiculous. So, if anyone said anything to me this whole thing, I've missed it entirely, so sorry about that. Twitch on my tablet through Chrome is fine.
Of course.
So, Google do Twitch better than Twitch do Twitch, apparently.
Dimebag asks, how's the music for Dead Cells? Incredible.
Yeah.
Unfairly good for a Metroidvania roguelike thing. Same thing with like Celeste, where sort of like this music will probably be good, and it's like, this music's real good.
Yeah.
Great, now I have that intro song stuck in my head again.
Which one? Celeste or Dead Cells?
Yeah, Celeste, the First Step song.
Mm-hmm.
That was like my undoing when I found I can listen to a lot of video game soundtracks in Spotify. It's like, oh, okay, well now I'm screwed. I'm just gonna keep listening to Minute's soundtrack because it's really good.
I need to play that thing desperately.
Minute is really good, and it's very short. Did it come out on Xbox One?
Yeah, it came out like a month later on Xbox.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they're a very small team. I think they're 3 people, something like that. And this is the only game they're making. It's so funny. Like they came together, they made this game, and then they're like, "Okay, we made our game. See you." It's like,
good for them.
Okay, yeah, like they supported it. It's 10. Yeah, it's only $10. That's a good price for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. All right, I am ready to wrap this guy up whenever you are.
Okay, give me 1 second. Let me just vape.
All right. She's gonna have a little bath here in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Their pudgy kitten belly.
Yep. And yes, this is a third, and this is my usual one. I got this one as a spare. This is my normal one. This is just the weird one.
Travel size.
Yes, travel size. It's really like I don't mind it, but the button on it is weird because the button on it is a big thing at the back. So if you accidentally leave it turned on and then put it in your pocket,
it just
still goes.
Yeah.
Whereas This one's less so.
I forgot to tell you, I took my cat Tybalt to the vet this morning. He's having some peeing outside of the litter box issues again. And found out that his bladder is massively inflamed, which
Jesus
makes sense. But not only did I take him out of his carrier and he had peed all over himself, but when we weighed him, he's 17 pounds 15 ounces.
That's three pounds shy of Sherlock, I would say.
And he's not even fat. He's all muscle. Like, he's just like thick.
But Tybalt is huge, though, isn't he?
He's a pretty good size. He's almost as big as Scuttle is. Scuttle is just like this like lanky weirdo, but Tybalt is just like when you pick him up, you just feel like he's all muscle. Like he's like a little dog. It's so weird.
It's the same with like Sherlock. Like when I first came over here to visit Jess for the first time and met Sherlock, it was like, holy fuck, he's a big cat. Right. And he was slightly tubby at the time, but I'm talking just in pure proportion. He's a big cat. Like, if he stands on this table, like this table, he's probably about that big.
Yeah, like he's just a large cat.
And then the second cat we get is this one over here, who is literally the size of a kitten. Has
the snack-sized kitten.
Yeah, the tooth and the claw sharpness of a kitten as well, for the record.
Yeah.
And like the softness of a kitten. And it's like they are the direct counterpoints of each other as well.
Yeah.
It just doesn't help that Sherlock is a giant bully who's like, I'm bigger than you.
I made the mistake of looking at... I had never really looked at it, that website Pet Finder, where you can like look at all the adoptable pets in your area, and I was like, alright, I'm sort of having a rough day, so when I do that, I look at senior and special needs adoptable cats in my area, and I think about just snuggling them. Because
that's a good solution.
That's natural. It's free, which is great. I found a cat that had been in the shelter for months and months, and the thing I didn't realize about Pet Finder is you could also specify by pet size, and it goes all the way up to extra large. And I was like, I feel like that's largely for dogs. Like, what size dog do you want?
Did you do an extra large cat search?
I didn't, but I ran across an extra large cat, and the first shot is just like straight on of him, and it's very cute. He has like this little smile. The second picture is like an isometric shot, perfectly round, just like the fattest fucking cat I've ever seen. And it just said like, here's his name. It was like Clover, 10 years old, extra large. Just like,
Jesus.
I'm sorry, buddy. I could put you on if we could afford another cat, I'd adopt you and put you on a diet.
Yeah, we clipped her nails recently.
Oh, nice.
So she's all about the feet obsession right now, where she's just like
going to town.
At least she's calmed down now. There's no more jumping in and out of boxes. No more chasing paper around plastic bags.
The screen. Oh, God. Cats. Fucking love them.
Credit to my wife, though, for the perfect chair for Louise to be in shot and star of the show, as she always is.
Yep. As cats are wont to do. Jimbo Jangle says, I think the game dev story guy should make a cat adoption sim. God, that's a good idea. I did download a game where you get to run your own cat cafe. What's it called? It's not really clicking with... It's called Cat Cafe.
Shocker.
It says it right on the tin. It's not a little... It hasn't really clicked with me. I need to put a little bit more time in it, but... Man, talk about... Boy, Kairosoft is just a fall from grace story. What a fucking shame.
Why? What the fuck happened with them?
They just, every new game they come out is like more and more in-app purchases, more and more of like the negative free-to-play. It's like, I get it. Like, you can only make so much money when you sell your game for $5 a pop. And I get that, like, as a company, you need to make more games, and you're making more different types of games, and you need to recoup that cost. You're just doing it the wrong way.
A little bit of a shove out the door kind of feeling.
Yeah, and also, like, you know, like, one of my favorite mobile games is Grand Prix Story, where you're building up this racing team and, you know, building up both your driver and researching parts and upgrading your cars, and it's so good. Like, the gameplay loop is so fast and so good. And they came out with a sequel, and I was like, God, this is going to be a hot banger. And immediately, it has an energy bar in it. And, like, a fuel bar for your car. And it's just like, guys, you fucked it up.
Yeah.
It's just like,
well,
just put plainly, you just pooched it.
Yeah.
It's a bummer.
I'm ready when you are.
Okay, let's get started here in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk releases for the week of August 19th, 2018. I almost said April. Guacamelee 2 comes out for PC and PS4. If I remember correctly, this is published or like funded in part by Sony. So this will be, like before, this will likely be coming to Switch and Xbox One in a little bit. But it's that unfortunate thing where it's like PC and PS4 for right now. So
didn't they do the inverse of this for the first one as well?
Yeah, wasn't it like it
Microsoft?
Xbox One originally?
And then moved to the other platforms.
Yeah. Hey man, I don't know. Business deals, am I right? I'm very curious to see what this is, because I liked the first Guacamelee, but never finished it because I kind of got sick of it. And for me, it got a little bit too hard at some point. And I feel like the best thing they could do is make another one, and hopefully they've smoothed all those edges.
Yeah.
That's pretty exciting. Shenmue 1 and 2, the remasters come out PC, PS4, and Xbox One.
Let's talk about this, shall we? Because
sure.
I was 100% into this because I have heard nothing but Shenmue is the greatest game ever made. Shenmue is amazing. Shenmue is fantastic.
The Dreamcast shining star.
Yep. And then I watched the endurance run of it. I'm literally like 10 episodes in, and I'm like, I am not buying that game. Not at all.
Part of what I'm interested in with these remasters, I think, maybe slight remakes, is to see if they're going to make any quality of life changes, because to me, Shenmue, having not played them originally, I started the first one, bounced off it very hard, those games are now very old. It would be like going back and playing Grand Theft Auto 3, where it's like, yeah, man, like, I can see what you're going for, but this is sure a PS2 game. Are they going to do anything to that to improve it, or sort of, like we're talking about with Guacamelee, to kind of smooth over those edges, or is it not even what the fans want? Do they just want Shenmue 1 and 2 they play on their Xbox One and PS4, or you know, anything better?
It's a very similar thing to the Final Fantasy remake.
Yeah.
They are making Final Fantasy 7 again. They cannot make that same game in these days, not considering. Let's just talk about the language used at the start of that game is completely
Honeybee Manor is maybe questionable in 2018.
Yeah, not even to mention the language Barrett uses.
Yes. Yeah.
There's a lot in that game that doesn't hold up.
No,
One might even say that Final Fantasy VIII is a better game.
One like myself would also say that. Yes.
Right there with you.
Yeah, it has to be so hard, because Final Fantasy VII is such a great example, because they have remastered those games. You know, it's out for PS4 and Vita and PC right now, so you can play a smoothed over version of the same game that came out on PS1, which is great. And I feel like that might also give them a lot of free reign to go crazy with the remake, because it's sort of like, well, you have the original one here that you can still play. If you don't like the remake, that's fine. You can go back to playing Final Fantasy VII, or you can play this brand new thing. But
this is 2018 on the internet, so everything's going to get broken down to individual molecules and torn to bits anyway. So
Yep. Nobody wins.
nope.
And last but not least, Gone Home comes out on the Switch, which also seems... It's another one of those
That's
games
a good
where
choice.
yeah, that's a good platform to put that on. Also put
Tacoma.
Edith Finch on there.
Yeah, that's a good shout too.
Wink.
Edith Finch and Tacoma.
Yeah, put those on there. Edith Finch is so good.
While we're talking about that developer specifically, number
sure.
one, I'm really glad that I remembered their name completely randomly because my wife was playing Tacoma recently. Congratulations on the 200,000 gamer score on your birthday.
Wow.
My wife was playing Tacoma and she found a book in Tacoma. Similar to me, when I was playing it, I found a book in Tacoma which was the Starbender series, which is direct reference to Prey.
Yep.
So my wife found a book in there called Swords and Shields, which is a adult literature novel from the Dragon Age universe.
Yes.
Written by the dwarf from the Dragon Age universe.
Varric, yes.
Yeah. And it pretty much confirmed by the lead artist on the game, like the environmental artist. Yeah, that's exactly what it's a nod for.
Nice.
And that's literally... My wife might have a problem because she listens to the Dragon Age conversation trees on YouTube. It's one conversation that happens in Dragon Age Inquisition.
Right. On like the 100 hours of the game.
That's referenced back to in this game.
Right.
And my wife literally saw that book and was like, is that a reference to this? And it showed me the video. And I was like, I don't know, tweet the developers. I think it's Fulbright. And then I looked into it and yes, it was Fulbright. And then, but I love the fact that they're a bunch of nerds making video games.
Yeah.
Shouting out to all these different devs as well. It's like, here's one for Prey, here's one for Dragon Age.
Right. It's also very timely because Varric published his first book here in the U.S., which is part of his steamy romance novels. They actually wrote and published one of those books.
Of course.
It just
came
out.
They did.
It's like,
Why not?
This is the best stupid thing you can do. I love it.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to news stories. Just 2 news stories this week. First up, PSA, Forza Horizon 2, maybe not the best in the series, to be fair. That's Forza Horizon 3. Is going to be removed from the Xbox Marketplace in September. It is free on Games with Gold right now, so you can go scoop it up and you can download it, forever in the future. But it's the same thing that happened to the first Forza Horizon. Likely it's soundtrack.
Or vehicles.
Yeah, or vehicles, or like maybe they just like the first one disappeared after 4 years too. It's been 4 years since the second one came out, so it's about time. And if you haven't played Forza Horizon before, just go get 3. 3 is ridiculously good.
Yeah, and it has Hot Wheels.
And 4 is going to be coming out on Game Pass
in
a depressingly short amount of time.
The theme of this week's episode, folks, is there's too many games.
Yeah, there's too many games, and I'm crying about it.
Yep.
Last news story here. Speaking of too many games, Diablo 3 has been finally confirmed for Switch.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw that announcement, I was like, well, there's Boston's time gone. There's Harlow and probably Mackie from the Bamcast.
Hannah also.
Hannah's gone as well.
Yep.
Soulman's probably gone.
My brother.
Yep.
Like, all of it's so funny when that got posted in Discord. Like all of us were just like, okay.
I guess we're buying a 4th copy of this game.
Yep. Let's do it. And I think for me, probably this probably won't be day and date for me. Mostly because I have played it so many times. I feel like once it goes on sale, to have it digitally on the Switch seems like such a great place to play it. They're saying like it's 720p 60 frames in handheld mode and like 900p in docked mode. That's great.
Yep.
That it's going to be smooth, it's going to be handheld. That's pretty much all you need. And Diablo 3 is still really great. Ever since they fixed it with let's just say version 2.0.
Yep.
It's a really great game. So,
oh wow.
Yeah, I'm and they worked with Iron Galaxy to port this.
Oh, good for Iron Galaxy.
Yeah, and they said it took them 9 months, which they were surprised that it took that long, but apparently it was a lot of like art assets to get redone. And then they added the stuff they added for the Switch version is really great. There's a Ganon armor set, which looks really good.
Of course there is. Why wouldn't there be?
There's a Triforce your portrait barrier, and most importantly, the new pet they will be giving you is the chicken from Legend of Zelda.
Oh!
I was just like, okay, that'll be my pet. Yeah, let's do that. That's a really good. That's a really good reference.
That's a really good reference. I think it would have been so much funnier to have Star Fox Fighter flying around. Yeah,
that'd be great. That'd be
a little mini version.
You know what's even better is on the Diablo 3 website. There's a mini site for this Switch version, and if you click on the chicken pet a bunch of times on the webpage, there are a whole bunch that come out and attack you.
Oh, it's so good.
Just like, all right, you got it right. Like, come on, boys, stop being so good.
I want that pet to take a bunch of damage, like be actually in the game, take hits from enemies.
Yeah, and just have 30 of them come out.
Suddenly summon a whole bunch of them.
Diablo killed by chickens.
Yep.
That'd be great. All right, let's move on to our questions here. T-Bomb Rocks hits us with a couple questions. With the news of a new type of multiplayer coming to Doom Eternal in the form of other players invading Dark Souls style but controlling enemies. So first off, have you heard of that?
Nope.
Okay, so they're going to have like a Dark Souls style thing where you can turn this off in settings too, so before we get into this. Someone can invade your game and play as one of the monsters.
Yeah, it's a nice touch. It's a good idea. Also, it will be getting turned off for me because I have enough dealing with the idiots and morons in my day-to-day life. Yeah.
Well, and to me, like that's not. I might play that on like future playthroughs, but not for my first playthrough. I don't want someone coming in day 2 and knowing like the best cheese spot for the Revenant, and they're like floating in the sky and just pew 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 for like an hour. Like that's not. Also, see why I'm not picking up Fallout 76. Weird.
Mm-hmm. I tell you what, I will pick up Fallout 76 when I can do private service and I have 5 other friends to play it with.
Yep, 100%. He says, what are some other franchises that focus mainly on single player that could also do this? That's a good question. I feel
Zelda.
like... What's that?
Zelda.
Oh, that'd be interesting, yeah.
Have a fight with Ganon. No, have a fight with Ganon, be against a human.
Oh man, it'd be like in Demon Souls with that scarf guy with all the chairs.
Yep.
Like if you were online, that was another person.
Mm-hmm. Like, that would be incredible because Ganon's meant to be a really bad guy when, let's face it, his boss fight in almost every single game. I don't know about the new one because I haven't played it, but his boss fight in pretty much every Zelda game he's a wussy.
Hit him with arrows of light.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, what are some other franchises that could do that? Like, the first thing I thought is, well, maybe Skyrim could do it, but the enemies in that are not the point. Like,
no,
that's just fodder.
And I really don't want a human-controlled giant running into the town and smashing everybody into the sky because they felt like it. Maybe
something like XCOM?
XCOM would be interesting.
Because I feel like the enemy AI in those are pretty good, that if a human controlled the other team, or even like just one person on the other team, I feel like it wouldn't be that big of an interruption.
Yeah, Dan Baggin chat with a great suggestion.
Dead Cells and Enter the Gungeon is a mimic chest. Oh, you monster.
Yeah. That would be problematic.
Have a mimic chest just juggle comboing you. To me, like, I think the weird part about this is, I think this is a really good question. I think the hard part is we're just starting to see this with some games that are coming up, like Fallout 76, though that's different. You know, that's few NPCs, a lot of multiplayer people. Like it's more of a true like PvP thing.
Yeah.
So I almost feel like this is a good question maybe like 2 years from now, where we've had the successes and failures of people trying to do this with single player games, where it's like, all right, well, Doom Eternal did that really well, but you know, Elder Scrolls 6 did that really poorly, but this other game did it okay.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of single player games that, because the problem you run into is you've got to look into a single player game where the big bad, it can be slightly bigger than you, but it can't be something huge and titanic. So FTL, you can't have can't have it on that. You could with the smaller ships, but with bosses and stuff like that, I think stuff like this you need to be looking at bosses to be human controlled.
Yeah.
Random enemies, like what's going to happen if this person jumps in and controls just a normal regular dude, like a normal regular enemy. When they die, do they get spawned into something else? Do they have the choice to stay, or do they get kicked?
If they spawn in as an imp and you shoot him with a BFG once, it's like, cool, I got to play for 5 seconds. This dude is just like ripping through the back half of this game.
Yeah. So do they get to choose what they spawn as? Do they get to respawn into something else if they're killed?
That's a good question.
So you've got to kind of base it off ideally like boss or mini boss fights, and the problem you run into is everything's so much about scale these days.
Right.
It's like, yeah, I want a human to control this dragon.
Yeah, exactly.
While I'm just a regular dude.
Right.
It doesn't always work out that well.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's why it'll be interesting to see how Doom Eternal does it. Because, like, if you can play as an imp, that might be fun, but, you know, it'd be interesting to see from an invader's standpoint how they make that worthwhile.
Yeah.
Yeah. He also asked, another indie game called Graveyard Keeper launched in Game Pass. This has been a trend over the last few months to the service. Aside from the current marketing, how can Microsoft use this to target more casual gamers that only buy a few titles a year?
Well, let's talk number one about the indie games going straight to Game Pass. I've heard so many people talking about this game.
Yep. Yeah, because of Game Pass.
Literally because it's in Game Pass.
Yep.
Because it's free. Because it's new.
Why not give it a shot?
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. I have it downloaded. It scares me. Genuinely scares me because it looks like Stardew Valley, except it's a graveyard instead of a farm.
Your wife has been talking about it a little bit, and it sounds like she's having the same problems that everyone else is, where it's like, this game is really great, but the grind to do everything is very long and frustrating.
Yeah. Also, limited tutorials kind of thing.
Right.
So, it's interesting. I think it's a really smart move. Like, if you're an indie game developer, I'm pretty sure you're probably getting a kickback for every single account that says, I will download this game.
Oh, I'm sure there's some payment method, yeah.
It's not going to be the same. I'm pretty sure it's not going to be the same as people buying the game, period. But
right.
I can tell you right now, for example, the second Vermintide 2 leaves Game Pass.
Scoop it right.
I will be buying that game.
Yep. So, I think, to me, if you're looking to target more casual gamers, I think you do what Microsoft is planning to do later this year and early next year, and just market the hell out of it, is you put Gears of War, Crackdown, Forza Horizon, Forza 7 or 8, whichever the next one is.
8, I think.
You put the next Halo game, like you put your genuinely big AAA tentpole titles on there, and you say, for X number of dollars a month, which by the way is a sixth of how much each one of these games cost. Yep. You can just play them right now for free, for for $10. Look at how cheap that is. Here's all the games.
We would have bought Sea of Thieves day one if I didn't get Game Pass.
Yep.
That $60 that I would have paid for Sea of Thieves is still in effect now.
Yep.
How many games later have I'm talking Bomber Crew, like
State of Decay 2.
State of Decay 2, the last train, like all these games I'm playing are from Game Pass.
Yep.
Which is still being paid for by Sea of Thieves, not deciding to buy it, actually pay the $60 for it. So I think at this point, it's a breaking point number. It's what game has to be on that service for you to pay for Game Pass. That's what it comes down to for me.
Yep.
We talked about it again pre-show. November, whatever it is when you buy Game Pass.
Yeah,
'cause
whenever
that's when
Forza Horizon 4 comes out, that's the day. It's like October 2nd. Like, that's the day I'm getting Game Pass, and that'll be the time. But I think Microsoft, feel free to hire me. This one's for free. I think what you do is, let's look at Gears 5. I think Microsoft needs to start leveraging all the data they have on their platform. So let's say someone buys Game Pass for Gears 5 and they finish the story. And I think as Microsoft, what I would start doing some testing on now if I was them is start saying, okay, somebody bought Game Pass, they downloaded Gears 5, they've unlocked this achievement that is, you finished the story mode at any difficulty.
Mm-hmm.
Send them a message that says, hey, we just saw you finished Gears 5. Here are other games you should play on Game Pass right now if you're looking for your next game. If they want to keep playing multiplayer or like play it again, collect all the collectibles, that's fine. Maybe you can push another message once they've got like 100% of the collectibles. And then at that point,
recommended for you panel.
Yeah, like push them back into Game Pass. Use the achievement data you already have to push them back into Game Pass for, like, our Gears 5 is here. Do you want to go play Halo the Master Chief Collection? That's also on Game Pass for free right now. You can download it. Like, you have to engage them back into the service, because otherwise they might look at that $10 charge on their credit card and be like, well, I'm already paying for Hulu and Netflix. I already beat Gears 5. Maybe I don't need Game Pass anymore. You know, like, you have to keep them continue to engage, like Netflix, where it's like, hey, you really like this show and you just finished it. Here are 4 other shows like that at the top of your recommendations page.
Yeah. I mean, the funny thing is you just mentioned that's just based solely off the achievement data.
Mm-hmm.
They have so much more data than just that as well.
Guaranteed, yeah.
Like,
I mean, this is just the easiest, like, A to B line of, we're fairly sure you've finished the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a smart decision by indies. If they want to get some buzz, as long as it's a good enough game, if they want to get some buzz, throw it on there.
Absolutely.
Let's see what happens, kind of thing. The worst thing that's going to happen is you're not going to get a huge popular buzz about it. People are still going to download it. It's still going to be available in the store. It's still available in the traditional ways that it is for you to push it that way.
Yeah. Yeah, and like, especially for a game like that has such a long tail on it, like something like Stardew Valley, that in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, when it gets pulled out of Game Pass, if you're still playing it at that point, it's a really easy decision to plop down, let's say $15 to just buy it, and with the 20% discount, that you can just continue playing it because you've already, at that point, like, imagine if Dead Cells was on Game Pass. If you're still playing it in 6 months, $15 is a really reasonable price to continue playing Dead Cells. Like,
and I'll be honest, not a situation I find myself in. For someone like you, this is when your young one is older and in the game playing space.
Yeah. Yep.
Here is your Xbox account. Here is your PlayStation equivalent.
Right. All the parental settings have been set.
Yep. And here is the Game Pass games that you can play based on all these settings.
Yep.
Knock yourself out.
Yeah. Don't go crazy on bandwidth. Play what you want.
Yeah. You can't buy anything because I've locked your account out of that.
That's a good point. Yeah.
But that gives kids so much access to video games that I am not a fan of the used gaming market.
Yeah.
I buy everything digitally now, so they're getting my money and they're keeping it one way or another.
Yeah.
I had to, when I was younger, I had to trade games in to afford more games.
Absolutely.
Because I was a broke teenager.
Yeah, and for me, it was very much, we'd go to Blockbuster on Friday night, we'd rent a game, it'd go back on Sunday morning. Like, play as much as you can. If you want to play the game again, you can rent it next week. You have to pay like $5 for a couple days. If you're super lucky, you might get that same cart you had last week, and that
with the save and everything.
You win the lottery at that point.
Yep.
But yeah, that's a really good point. You know, you can pay $10 a month as opposed to $60 per game, and then the whole family gets to.
If I was a kid these days, and like, because we had the Genesis, we had the SNES, we eventually got an N64. It's like, okay, I've got 5 games to choose from here that I own, and I ain't getting a new one until my birthday happens.
Yeah.
If I'm very, very lucky.
Yep.
Now I load up my Xbox, like, Game Pass 100 plus.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's a dream.
And it's a very wide variety of games, so it ranges from the small, the quick, to the long and overdrawn. But Game Pass seems to be a good solution for everybody, and I'm not a huge fan of the subscription model. I don't like the fact that it's almost impossible to buy Microsoft Office these days. You have to go into the subscription. Right. Photoshop's doing the same thing with the Adobe
I'm
stuff.
recording right now with Adobe Audition CC, which is part of my subscription.
I'm not a huge fan of that. Yes. Thank you, patrons. Like, I'm really... I don't like the subscription model taking over everything, but the big thing with Game Pass is the option is there for both.
Yeah.
You can buy them, or you can do the Game Pass thing, and for so many different options, I'm finding that Game Pass is the way to go.
Yeah.
So...
I'm glad it is as good of a deal as it sounded when they announced it. When it's like, okay, I'm going to pay $10 a month, and I'm just going to be able to download hundreds of games. Sure. It's like, wait, I can download a brand new game day one and play it?
Specifically, hundreds of Microsoft games or junk games is what I was thinking.
Yeah. Where it's like Halo Master Chief Collection and 99 bad games.
Yep. Well, you say that like Master Chief Collection isn't a bad game too.
I was trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. They've been working really hard to fix it.
It's not quite years? There. For 3 years, dude?
That's fair. I feel badly when a studio is put in that position where everyone's like, yeah, this is going to be great. And it's like, it isn't. And then they like put the nose to the grindstone for years and it's slowly improving, but it's just not getting there. I
like it. It's just kind of broken.
Yeah.
Well, I'm fine with that, but no, it surprises me every time I load it up and see, whoa, that game is in Game Pass? That game is in Game Pass?
Like, I look, like, they tweet every once in a while where they're like, here are 3 or 4 new titles coming to Game Pass. I'm like, those are all great games. Like, what are you doing? You're losing money. They're not. I mean, Microsoft has all the money, but...
Yes, they do.
It's a good position to be in for us. We do have one more question, but we're sort of out of time here, so I'm just going to push that right on to next week. Thank you for listening. If you'd like to visit us, you can do so at tvgp.tv. All the places you can find and follow us on the right-hand side of the page, including the Discord server. Come join. It is always a hopping place. Tons of people from the community. The best community on the internet can be found there. Patreon.com/E1M1. The ones are numbers. Get all the cool behind-the-scenes, early access stuff. Outcast is going to be real good this week. We talk about top 10 stuff, which will be Outcast exclusive.
And the weeping starts.
Yeah, hear us cry quietly. I still think the $5 tier is the real sweet spot for early access for Dynamic Soundtrack and Old Dog New Flicks, which we'll be getting a new episode of both of those here in the next couple weeks. Game Club, yes. Ori and the Blind Forest is our brand new one. Out now is our Celeste episode. That'll be in your feed here pretty soon, along with the God of War spoiler cast. And don't forget to subscribe to all the places we live stream, so they will let you know when we go live. We'll see you all next week.
Bye.
1, 2, 3, 4. I have 5 titles.
I got like 8 again, dude.
Okay.
It was I started off so slowly, and then it seemed to ramp up after a while.
We hit our stride, and they just started happening.
Hold X, let go of X. That's a real journey. Thanks to Dimebag for the "I'll murder you if you don't calm down, cat." It's Dead Cells. Pre-show.
Oh yeah.
Build that flowchart. Well, it's a bit long, but what my kind of suggestion is: who's your favorite JRPG old guy? Nobody wins, and there's too many games.
Nobody Wins is our, like, giant bomb homage.
Yeah.
I have boring news stuff, a crashing kind of manner. Bicky Wiki is dead.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
I got a massive dinger.
Surely that gets vetoed. Surely that's gonna get vetoed.
It's right on the line.
Come on.
And my favorite one is shoe-based weaponry.
Oh, I didn't even think. I'm sorry.
Shoe-based weaponry is like my choice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna circle that one because to me that's like the shoe-in for the week.
I hate you.
Sorry. It's like my dad joke. Like as soon as my kid was born, I was like, I need to make puns.
Yeah.
I feel it in my bones.
To increase.
Oh boy.
Oh, I forgot about shoe-based weaponry.
It's so. As soon as you said it, I was like, that's it. That's the one. We got it.
That's pretty good.
All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 565 for August 20th, 2018. Shoe-based weaponry.
Whapa, whapa. Not as bad as you think.
All right, thank you so much everyone for watching the live stream. We will be back next week. Bye.